Hello, this is Caitlin Martin, and I'm doing my review, which is assignment 4 for actual assignment 2, and my group's focus was social media. What I learned in general is first, it's collaboration is key. From the very beginning of when we picked our topic and then we picked our questions we were going to look into, we started to try to make a Google Classroom. We were having some technical issues with making sure that everybody could join it. So we ended up going to Google Hangouts where we could talk back and forth almost like an instant messenger type thing. And we were able to work it out amongst ourselves to figure out what we needed to do, and ended up creating a Google Classroom. And then one of my classmates made folders so that it was easier, and we did a lot of collaboration. And I learned before it even started that the people in my group were very, very smart and very willing to help, which is great for any kind of collaboration. There always needed to be somebody to start the conversation. Somebody had to start the group. Everybody needed to be involved, which I think was key, that everybody in my group was very willing to communicate, give feedback, get information on different parts of each question that each person was working at. It helps to have everybody that's thinking towards the same thing, so we all were doing everything we could to help each other, so that was very beneficial. I have to again say that my group was amazing. The information that everybody brought to the table was so great, and it's so helpful for me to think of things that I never would have even thought of when it comes to social media. So first I'd like to start with Mark. His topic was about cybersecurity and social media, and I have to say it was so interesting, but it is very scary to think about all the information that we're giving out without even having any knowledge of everything that they're taking in. So the biggest thing with his that I was reading about was talking about how crazy it is that you may not think that they're getting your information by like little add-ons and things that they're putting on websites and whatnot, but you click one thing and it could lead to like all of your information being taken, which is crazy. So he was awesome. The way he wrote it was great. The information he gave was amazing. It was so well thought out. I mean, just awesome. Savannah, hers was about using social media and ELA. The biggest thing that I took from hers is that students are already using social media, so why not help and use it to improve interaction? And that doesn't have to just necessarily mean interaction between students, because students already having social media, they probably interact on there already, but making it so that social media is used to connect students and teachers, or even teachers and teachers. I thought this was very beneficial, especially because there's so much that you can learn from social media, and there's so much you can learn from kids because they've already used this stuff. So if they've already has the material and they already know it, then they already feel very comfortable using these different platforms. So we need to do things that are going to be beneficial to them. Then we have Maria. She did social media in elementary school, so this connects with me a lot, being that I'm a kindergarten special education teacher. So I loved that she used Seesaw. I use that all the time. I never used it or ever even thought to use it for responsibility and different things like that. So I mean, she taught me something new that I've already started implementing in my classroom, just trying to help my students to really become more responsible and more independent. Another thing that she brought up that was important was the use of social media, making it into a positive instead of being all about, like, there's so many people that don't agree with using social media in schools, and I think that it could be so beneficial. And so reading her paper correlated a lot with mine, so I thought that was great. Chris talked about social media outside of the classroom, meeting students where they are, and that's being online. I thought that was such a big talking point. Reading that really connected with me. Is like, you want to connect with your students to a point that they feel comfortable with you and you feel comfortable with them. So why don't we get to a point that we're raising the bar for ourselves and getting to a point where we feel comfortable with doing things that they're already comfortable with, such as social media. Do what makes the student feel comfortable. That's one of the biggest things. If a student feels comfortable and they're happy, they're going to be more willing to learn than if we're forcing them or trying to get them to do things that they don't want to do. Social media is something that they're engulfed in now, so might as well educate ourselves and join in on it. So what I learned myself through my topic, I did social media connecting with parents. I focused a big amount on what social medias would be good with schools and correlate with teaching, and how to make the connection continue all the way to parents. I talked about a lot about being a united front with parents. So if we teach them the material that we're doing in schools, then they can help teach their kid at home. I know that there's been a lot of students in the upper grades that come home, and parents will come to me and ask me, because they have kids in my grade, and say, how do you do this? And I'll say, sometimes I don't even know how to do it. So it'd be nice to have a place where they can look and see exactly what their kids are doing, and almost being showed how it's being taught, just so that parents can really be like another front, so we could be united to be able to, like, teachers will get them at school and parents will get them at home, so we can really teach them, and then they could benefit here on out. Takeaways. You learn something new and valuable every day. So I learned through my group, and even reading through other people's groups, that like there's so much information you can take in. You don't know what you don't know. So, and that's something that I've taken from teaching and anything like that. Like, you don't know. So if you listen to other people and you take in their views and their values and anything like that, or even their research like we did in this one, you're going to gain a lot of knowledge. So I loved that, learning from all of my teammates and my group mates, and I'm taking a lot into my classroom from what I learned. I learned that Google Classrooms are so helpful. I've used them before in the, during this master's process that I'm in, but I've never used it in a way with other students in my class. So that was great. And also Google Hangouts is great because it's just messaging back and forth. It's almost like a quick email that you can go back and forth. So I have to say this assignment was very helpful. I learned a lot, and I'm already taking a lot back to my classroom in regards to what my group put in, and also what other groups have talked about. So thank you, and I loved this assignment.